What is happening, everybody? Welcome to the Somebody Like You podcast, where our goal today is to help you with some of those challenging life decisions, like how to do things when I am not motivated to do things. So, this one's going to be titled Motivation versus Discipline. But as we always get started, this podcast is sponsored by Somebody Like You Mental Health and Wellness Coaching. So, here is a word from our sponsors. Picture this: you just had your first session with somebody like you, and already you're experiencing a positive shift in your mental health. The clouds of uncertainty and self doubt are clearing, making way for a brighter, more empowered version of you. That's the magic of mental health coaching. Because in today's fast paced world, we're all facing challenges that can impact our well being. Stress, anxiety, self limiting beliefs can hold us back from reaching our full potential. But with somebody like you, mental health coaching, you have a compassionate and experienced guide by your side, dedicated to helping you navigate these obstacles. As somebody like you, we are a team of dedicated coaches believing that everyone deserves to live a life filled with purpose, joy, and self acceptance. We provide a safe space for you to explore your thoughts, emotions, and aspirations. With our guidance, you'll find the strengths within you to overcome obstacles and create a life that aligns with you and your values. So why wait? Take the first step towards a happier, healthier you. Visit Somebody Like You's website today at somebodylikeyou.org and schedule your first session. Experience the positive impact of mental health coaching and unlock your true potential. How fun is that? Somebody Like You coaching. If you jump on that website, you can leave them a note at the bottom and contact them. It will send them an email and they will get back to you within 24 hours with possible meetup times to schedule a discovery call. But now that our word from our sponsor is through, we are moving in to the podcast episode, what we have as motivation versus discipline. And the first step to understanding the difference between motivation and discipline is understanding what is the difference. So let's define discipline real quick. Because when we understand what discipline looks like versus motivation, we're going to be able to distinguish the two and then learn how to marry them. We're going to learn how to actually have them work in a tandem. So, first, discipline, think of it as this: it refers to the ability to consistently follow a set of rules, routines, actions without the need for motivation. It's part of your routine, it's part of your mindset. So when there's a lack of desire or motivation, your self-control, your willpower, and your commitment to follow through is going to be what drives you through this. Think of discipline as it's about creating and maintaining a structure, right? That helps you achieve your goals and your desired outcomes. With discipline comes sacrifice, delayed gratification, and often it has the ability to focus on the bigger picture than rather than just the right now picture. To everyone joining the live podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So now that we have discipline defined, right? Let's talk about the key features of discipline. First and first, first and foremost, consistency. Discipline just doesn't happen once and done, right? Consistency is discipline that is enforced over and over again. So discipline can look as if it is a part of your morning routine, a part of the way you think on a consistent basis, the part of you that wakes up and knows you are going to do these things through hell and high water, the things that are non-negotiables to you. If you are working through self-help, if you are working through finding a goal, what discipline's going to look like is on the days you do not want to be here and doing those things, you are going to do and be here for those things. Non-negotiable, right? Imagine as if it is you signed a contract with yourself and your contract says, I show up every day for me. Does that mean the best version of you shows up every day? That is a really tall task, right? So remember, you're going to want to set achievable goals here. No matter what you're achieving or what you're working towards, you need to show up. So part of that contract and part of that discipline is showing up, whether you want to be there or not. Yes, rest days and stuff are included in this contract, but you have to find the thing that is going to work best for you to achieve these goals. Because, right, we kind of get stuck in this mindset of we want to cheat the system. We want to get away with something. I think for me, that started in school. Just because you're telling me I have to do something, I'm going to find every other which way to do it because I don't like being told what to do. um, that was taught to us at a young age, right? So we have to understand these are our goals. These are our aspirations. These aren't some school or some system putting these burdens on top of us. These are the things that we feel so connected to that we need to achieve, that cheating the system is only going to cheat us. And then we're going to get to a point and be like, why haven't I achieved anything yet? Well, it's because we've been cheating. So discipline is going to be consistently showing up every day according to your contract. What are you doing? I'll give you an example of my contract so you can modify it to be yours. Um, I have a contract with myself that says 4 to 5 days a week, I am going to exercise or do movement, right? Get the heart rate up for 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes a day. That's a non negotiable for me. 4 to 5 days a week. So I give myself the leeway to be like, that can look like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday, on Saturday, or whatever it looks like. But we have to understand that you need to give yourself the freedom in this contract to continue to show up. So that's one thing of mine. I'm going to meditate every day. Now, does that mean lie in my bed or sit out back or sit Indian style or crisscross applesauce with my fingers for 30 minutes a day? No, because we have to learn, or what I encourage people to learn, is meditation looks different for everyone. One of the biggest questions I get is, I have ADHD, I cannot meditate. No, the only thing that's stopping you from meditating is that mindset of saying, I cannot meditate. Meditation can be done on a walk in nature. Meditation can be done while you're doing the dishes, while you're cutting the lawn, while I'm podcasting. I can be meditating because the only place that I am is right here. That's meditation. Being where you are and nowhere else. Thoughts may come in. Thoughts may try to jump in and be like, you forgot to do this, or you have this upcoming. You need to do that. Meditation is understanding those thoughts are coming. You are not those thoughts. You are just simply here. So I am meditating every single day. I am working out 4 to 5 or I want to change the word workout to moving. I am moving. I'm getting my heart rate up 4 to 5 days out of the week for 30 minutes a day. Those are part of my contract. So to let you in on my contract, I need to let you in to know what my goals are. I am doing all of this for my mental health, not to sit there and look like six pack Jerry or like whatever. I don't know who Jerry is. I'm not doing this for to have an aesthetically pleasing body. I'm not. I am doing it because I live with anxiety disorder. I live with panic disorder. I have lived with and overcome agoraphobia. I do these things because I'm working on becoming the best version of myself. If you do one thing to perfection, but I wouldn't advise speaking it, breathing. I'm just trying to read some comments here. So if you're trying to remember, perfection is a fool's game. We're never going to be perfect. So whether it comes to these contracts, whether it comes to achieving these goals, perfection is never going to be reached. Perfection in the eyes of you is going to look different in the perfection in the eyes of somebody else. And if you can work towards perfection knowing that you will never achieve it, that is okay. So that's what these goals are part of, right? That's why I'm working through these contracts with myself. It's that discipline of showing up for me every day. Discipline has the long-term goal in mind because it focuses on achieving long-term goals, not the instant gratification of now. That's what discipline is. It's keeping focus on the long-term goal. If you're constantly looking for that instant gratification, we live in an instant gratification world. We live in what can you do for me now? And if it doesn't work now, I don't want it. When it comes to your mental health and when it comes to achieving these big long term goals, the instant gratification may be your biggest hindrance. It may be the thing that gets in your way because you're constantly looking for the reward at every chance you get. When you have the long-term goal in mind and you prioritize consistent effort and look at your progress as incremental, the gratification is going to be delayed, right? You're going to get the gratification from sticking with your contract, sticking with yourself. Being disciplined is going to become the gratification because you're going to start to see after 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, all of the progress you made when you felt like nothing was happening. You felt like nothing was going on during those first crucial weeks. And you said, you know what? I trust in the process. I trust in the discipline and I trust in the contract of myself that I'm going to see benefits that I may not even be aware of. Like I said, when you set your intention, whatever that long term goal is, mine is mental clarity, mental health, mental wellness. My mental well being is why I do this stuff, right? Because I know when I'm at my best, hello, everybody just joining. Hello, everybody joining. When I am at my best, I am mentally sound. I am eating better. I am moving more. I am speaking with people that are positive influences in my life. I'm working with people that are positive influences in my life, right? That all just doesn't happen by accident. That happens by discipline. That happens by creating a commitment and holding yourself accountable. Because if you're committed and you are accountable, that your success does not lie in the hands of anybody else. Yes, things may present themselves as roadblocks. You can easily blame those roadblocks for the reason you're not getting there. But remember, with every roadblock, there's an alternative route. Take the alternative route. It's up for you to understand and for you to see that roadblocks aren't road closures. One more time, roadblocks are not road closures. They're kind of helping you out, right? Because maybe if you went down that way, you would have been detoured into somewhere that wasn't towards your goal. So commit and hold yourself accountable because discipline involves a strong sense of commitment to your goals, to your willingness to hold yourself accountable, to take the necessary steps towards achievement. We get so caught up in that instant gratification that we forget that the process and the journey is where the magic is. We get so caught up that we need to make X amount of money. We need to do this. We need to get this done. The process and the figuring it out is the creative aspect of it, right? For all the artists, the musicians, the content creators, the process is the beauty. If you don't ever enjoy this process, discipline is going to be so hard because you're going to look at discipline as the enemy when discipline is your best friend. So when you start learning to love the process of going for your morning walks, getting your getting your meditation in, creating your content, doing your music, whatever it might be, playing your music. When you start to enjoy that, discipline becomes a lot easier because you enjoy the process. Now we're going to move to motivation, right? Because there's a difference between discipline and motivation. I often like to say, or I think I got it, I heard it from Jocko. Um, if I only did things when I was motivated, I would never do a damn thing. If I were only to do things when I was motivated to do them, I wouldn't get anything done because I'm not motivated 24 hours a day or while I'm awake. I'm not motivated 16 hours a day. There's times where I don't feel like doing shit. And here's the best part of that. That's okay. You're allowed to feel that way. And identifying what the difference between motivation and what discipline is going to be the game changer because motivation is the inner drive. It's you know what? I actually wrote it down. Here's the here is the formal definition of motivation. Motivation refers to the inner drive or enthusiasm that propels individuals to take action, pursue goals, and achieve desired outcomes. It is the emotional and psychological catalyst that fuels passion, determination, and engagement in specific tasks or endeavors. Motivation can arise from external factors such as rewards or recognition, or internal factors such as personal values, aspirations, or a sense of purpose. What happens when your sense of purpose isn't at the forefront and you're going through could be chemotherapy, right? It could be the grief of a loved one. It could be, the heavy stuff where motivation doesn't exactly present itself. And all of a sudden now, weeks, months go by, and you haven't been doing the things that made you feel good. And now that motivation gets further and further away because the discipline is what actually helped the motivation present itself. This podcast idea was actually brought to you by my mother. I couldn't for the life of me find the motivation on what to speak about today. So I had to look inside and I said, who is somebody that I really value that might need a little bit of help and perspective? And I said, my mom. So I called her this morning, FaceTimed her this morning, because she's going through her significant challenges right now and what she's going through, right? And she said, I think it'd be really beneficial to help people understand how to do things when they don't feel like doing them. For anyone that doesn't know, my mom is working through chemotherapy right now. And as my hero, I watch her go every other week to the thing she does not want to do the most in this world. But why does she do it? There's the difference. The motivation and the discipline's the why. Or the connection between discipline and motivation is the why. Because on days you don't want to do it, how do you get motivated? It's your why. For her, it's family. For her, it's support group. It's she likes to call it her support squad, right? So what is your motivation? What is your why to achieve these things? Because showing up on the Mondays that you don't want to show up on, you have to have that why. Otherwise, you're going to be like, no, I'm good. Well, no, if I say no, I'm good, this can be a matter of life and death. I have a lot of people I want to spend more time with on this earth. I know damn well there's a lot of people on this earth that want to spend more time with me. So there's your why. There's the connection between your discipline and your motivation. Sometimes we talk about a motivation or emotional stuff as good. Sometimes motivational can be bad. In the key of motivation, it's used as fuel and desire. The more consistently you show up, the more consistently you do things, the more motivated you're going to do. Because we talk about that gratification. Without the discipline, the motivation only shows up when it feels like it. Think of discipline as when you're consistently showing up for yourself and you didn't want to get there in the beginning, right? And think of it as if you're going to walk or if you're going to work out, if you're going to run or whatever it might be. And you say, I just don't want to do it. But through and through, you're putting your shorts on, you're putting your shoes on, you put your headphones on, you get outside, you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And all of a sudden you get 3, 5 minutes in and you're like, wait a second. This release of these endorphins make me feel kind of good. I'm kind of feeling myself right now. That motivation never would have come to fruition if the discipline act of putting on shoes, shorts, headphones, and walking out that door didn't happen. Discipline provides the door for motivation to walk through. Because motivation can fluctuate over time. We keep talking about it. Motivation will show up when it damn well pleases. So if you rely on motivation to get anything done, you're relying on chance. You're relying on something that you have no control over. Now, control is an illusion. That's something I truly feel. But the illusion of control can actually help. And that's discipline. You can predict outcomes. I saw a comment from Michelle in the chat saying, I need to find my why. That is something that is going to come within you, right? So the discipline, the showing up, right? How do we find a why? Because that's going to help with all of this. You have to look inside. What is that? What does that look like? It can be family, it can be friends, it can be your personal journey. I can only give you insight to mine. My why was I want to work through my anxiety, my panic disorder, my agoraphobia, and all of those things to be able to spend quality time with people I love. I want to work through these things so I can help others who also work through those obstacles, those detours, those roadblocks. Those are my whys. And now remember this, it's okay. Your why is going to change over time, just like your motivation is going to change over time. Your goals are going to change over time. You have to be fluid. You have to be fluid. Goals are going to change, motivations are going to change. You are going to change. Change with them. Your why might be finding your why. So how do you so we'll use as we're on the topic of discipline and motivation, right? To finding why. If your motivation and your why is to find your why, that is massive. How do you do that? Spend time with inner work. We meditate. We set a discipline to meditate every day. It can start to be 3 to 5 minutes, 2 minutes every day. Show up and you start looking within, right? You start feeling yourself, feeling inside. What else does that look like? I want to be mindful. I want to find the way I talk to myself. Maybe if I don't have my why right now, I look myself in the mirror and I start saying the things I love about myself. I love that my mission's here to help people. I love that I'm an empathetic and caring person. I love that I stick to my contract. I love that I have the purpose and the motivation to find my why. It's going to pop up. You're going to start being like, wow, I love all these things. I want to be in service of that. Okay. What do you be in service of? Helping people. That's my why. Spending time with the people I love because I am caring, I'm empathetic. I love these people. That's my why. Right? We have a wonderful comment. When I'm not motivated, I just start something half ass to take the pressure off. Normally, once I get going, I end up finding the motivation anyway, because doing something wrong can be better than not doing it at all. I agree. From our loving commenter, Rebecca, thank you so much. Rebecca Marie Hawkins. Um, we talk about it. Show up for 5 minutes. And after those 5 minutes, if you feel like stopping, go ahead and stop. But train your mind to know I show up. That's the discipline. The motivation is going to come from the discipline. So if you get 5 minutes in and you're like, you know what? I don't have it today. That's okay. Because Caroline in the chat said, my motivation definitely fluctuate with my mental and emotional health. Yeah, that's going to happen, right? That's okay. But what you're teaching your mind is I show up for me. That's the discipline of this. I show up for me. My mental health is one thing, right? I like to say there's two versions of me. There's this physical body of me that is feeling the things, that is experiencing the things in the physical sense. So the happiness, the sadness, the motivation, the joy, the grief, all of that. And then there's that higher version of me, the best version of me. So some you can say like it's your soul self, some can say it's your soul, it's your spirit, whatever terminology you like to use for this. There's that I'll call my best self, right? I set the intention to be in connection with my best self. And sometimes my best self says, hey, you're feeling these things. Today is a rest day. But we're really proud of you for showing up because you're letting the best self know, that spirit self know, I'm here. I'm here. I recognize you. I see you. Right now, this physical self also has needs too. So instead of going for the next 25 to 30 minutes, maybe I'm going to just sit and spend some time with myself. Maybe I'm going to meditate a little bit today. All of this comes from that why, those 5 minutes of showing up. The motivation will come. And if it doesn't, the discipline's always there. That's non negotiable. As we move on to chapters of my podcast, I always like people to take a moment to take a couple deep breaths and check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. It's a lot of information just to dive into, right? Finding your why, finding the things that work for you, finding the things that you need to work on. So check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. Because we're moving on to how to embrace the mindset of discipline. Because shifting your mindset to prioritize discipline requires a conscious effort. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to change. That's where, if you're not willing to change, that's where you're relying on the motivation of like the days I want to eat better, I want to work out, I want to move, I want to do these things. Well, if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. There has to be that conversation, the inner dialogue with yourself that tells you, time's up. I want to do this. I'm ready for the change. Or you can stay on the couch eating Twinkies and doing whatever, get that sugar out, that little quick hit of dopamine. And then the rest of the day, you're going to feel like, damn. But I often find this is, just more of a personal anecdote. Um, I don't restrict myself food. I understand what foods play roles in how I feel. But if I stick to my routine, my disciplines of my contract, moving, when I have those foods, it's okay because I was in service of my best self. Now, I tend to start making better decisions when I'm in service of my best self. I don't make as many as we'll call it my less motivated self. Okay, but if it's fried Twinkies, as in the chat, yeah, gotta make time for those fried Twinkies. Because as we get back to embracing the mindset of discipline, you need to recognize that discipline provides structure, consistency, and it also provides the necessary follow through to turn your aspirations, your goals, your desires into a reality. Sometimes for myself, I was never one to put things into a calendar because I thought I would just be guided to do the things at the times I'm supposed to do things. I'll tell you what, I haven't seen any bit of success until I started putting things into a calendar because I held myself accountable. You can almost call it the accountability calendar. When I have those notifications pop up on my phone, it's like the reminder. It's like that. It's like, hey, you made a deal with yourself that you're going to do this at this time. So, bud, are you going to do it? And the answer is yes. Like I said, I'll show up for 5 minutes. If I have content to make, if I have content to research, if I have coaching calls, because I'm going to tell you, as a mental health coach, sometimes coaching calls are very draining. And when you have back to back calls, what you do is you rely on your discipline to get to the next one because I'm not going to half ass any call I have. Just like I want to inspire you. Find your why, find your inspiration, find that motivation, because then when you show up, you're there. So, like I said, if I'm on a back to back coaching call, the discipline of my calendar, the accountability of my calendar is what keeps me there, which keeps me going. Because if I was just like, I don't feel like, can you imagine that? Hiring a coach and then being like, I don't feel like being here. I'm good. No, I've trained my mind that when that thing pops up, I take I always like to set space, right? I spend about 3 to 5 minutes before a call setting space for people to be able to be their authentic self, their vulnerable self, to be able to heal, to be able to I'll walk you through it. I will literally say, I want to provide a space for so and so to be able to learn the best practices to help heal themselves. I want to act as a vessel, a communicating vessel to be in connection with whatever it may be that is going to most effectively communicate with this person. I will tell you, even if I just came off another coaching call, when I start setting that space and setting intentions, the entire energy of my space changes. Now, I don't know if you've listened to any of the podcasts that talk about intention setting, but that's a discipline. When you set intentions, you're letting your mind know what we're doing. You're letting your subconscious mind know what we're creating. Remember, you're the artist here. So when you embrace the mindset of discipline, you're creating this. Discipline isn't just about the military mindset, right? It's not just about, you know, all of those kind of things. So remember, when you embrace the mindset of discipline, you have to set these clear goals and establish your priorities. What's going to be first? What's going to be the most prioritized thing of your if your happiness is prioritized? Awesome. How do you get there? What makes you happy? What brings you joy? Well, spending time with my loved ones. Helping others. Awesome. That's a priority for me. So when you feel like you don't want to be doing things, the things that bring you joy, do them. Because yeah, like I said, back-to-back coaching calls. Do I have the energy for this? Well, my purpose is to help people. So I will guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, that once I get in after setting that space, I get into that call, I'm there. I'm moving. I am grooving. Right? So find your happiness, set clear goals, establish your priorities, understand your why. We talked about if you're looking for your why, how to find it. Finding your why can be your why. That is a purpose. That is a purpose. Finding your why. I'm going to let you know if you feel alone in thinking that everyone, or if you feel alone that you don't know your why, I'm going to let you know a lot. A majority of people do not know their why because they're chasing a why that 15-year-old them was trying to figure out. And now you may be in your 30s and you're like, well, I still haven't figured out that why. Your your why is not running from you. Your why is finding the why. And I'm going to let you know once you find the why, a whole new set of things just unfold. And you go, well, now I found it. Now I'm on my next chapter. And that's understanding your why. And it doesn't have to sound good. You're not interviewing for your why. You're not you don't have to find it so you can write in a chat to me and be like, this is it. Remember, this why is for you. This why isn't for you to tell your friends, for you to go and brag about, for you. I often find, in my case at least, I always said my purpose is to help people. My purpose is to help people. And I almost didn't know what that meant. This is a time where I'm going to be brutally honest with everybody. I almost didn't know what that meant when I felt like I was hiding behind that. I felt like that was the good guy answer. I want to be the good guy. We have a wonderful comment from my dear friend Hannah. Being open to temporary whys and long term ones, and that they can shift. I love that. I had a wonderful conversation with my sister who's going through some stuff, and she was talking about feeling a certain way, worrying about a certain thing, what one's right, what one's wrong. And I said, Allison, they can both, all of these things can exist at once. There's not a this or that. There's not just a one way to do things. You're a human body that is experiencing so much. All of this can exist at one time, but where you shift your focus and where you put your focus on is going to be what you feel the most. So while you may feel anxiety or you may feel lost, well, let's turn those things into, why do I feel this way? What lessons am I learning? All of a sudden, you're not the victim of these feelings anymore. You're the problem solver. You're the one that's coming to save you. You're the person here. You're not waiting on somebody else's purpose. You're finding yours. It's like I said, I was hiding behind my purpose for a long time. I thought saying I want to help people, it was just going to happen. And I had a very big struggle with being liked by people. And I thought by saying, I just want to help people, that will make me likable. Let me tell you what, helping people is hard work because not everybody wants to be helped. And once I learned that, I, f- I finally understood what I meant by I want to help people. I got to be the creator, I got to be the artist. I got to be the how do I want to help people because sometimes it starts with that generic, right? It starts, I knew I want to help people. I like helping. I find joy in helping others. But when other people don't like the help you're giving them, it attacks your ego. So when your ego gets attacked in your purpose, the discipline, see how this circles in? The discipline is going to what keeps you coming back. I can't live without helping people. I can't live with trying to help people help themselves. I can't. I am miserable when I feel like my purpose is not being pursued. So that's understanding your why. Some of us hide behind our why. I did. No shame. That's part of my journey. I hid behind wanting to be the good guy, the wanting to be liked, the wanting to be the savior, the superhero, the man with the cape. I'm going to solve all your problems. You know what I've learned? I'm not going to solve one of your damn problems. What I am going to do is help you learn how to solve your own problems. That's my gift, is communicating with you. So if you're, I don't want to call it hiding because I say I was hiding behind it. If you are currently in a very generic state of your why, and you're like, well, I just don't know, turn the creative mind on and be like, well, how do I want to do this? Why? And then when one thing doesn't feel good, don't say, well, that's not my why. You keep going, keep creating, draw another picture, play another song, write another lyric. The song is going to come together. Not all great and beautiful songs are written on the first shot, right? So let's keep that going. And that we talked about creating routines. That's going to help when you start finding your purpose, when you start finding the reason. Like I said, mine's my mental health, my mental well-being, my mental and emotional wellness. That's why I do it. Because if I wasn't doing those things, I'm not here talking to you on a podcast. I wouldn't be able to do it. The fear of going live and watching people or knowing that people are seeing me go through my stuff. Woo, talk about tough. But my routine, my goal, my why, my goal, like I said, my goals, my discipline allow me to tap into the best version of me, which is helping others. And that's this. I love this. So find those things. If you're just starting out, break those tasks and those goals and those routines into manageable steps. This is a really big nugget. I'm going to say it one more time. If you are just starting out and it feels so daunting, do me a favor, but most importantly, do yourself a favor and break those steps up into manageable and achievable steps. It's the smart method. Part of that is achievable steps. Because if you're not achieving and you're just constantly bogged down by the heaviness of the direction you're trying to go, you're never going to get there. Because you're going to feel like you've never achieved anything. You've not like, yeah, there's delayed gratification. But if you constantly feel bogged down by and then don't ever get to start, like I said, it can be meditating for 2 minutes, 30 seconds, being mindful for a minute today. That can be the start of your success story. If they're writing a documentary about you and you're starring in it, that will be the scene in which you start getting better. Start fulfilling your purpose. Start finding your why. Up until now, it's been the decline, right? What feels like the decline. There has to be an arc to every story. And every arc doesn't start with the motivational music that jumps in the back and you're climbing up the rocky steps. It starts with that first baby step of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit to 1 minute today just to meditate and be with myself. Now, does 1 minute sound much more manageable than 30 minutes of meditation? When you can't sit still for 30 minutes with your eyes opened and distracting yourself? No. Make it manageable. Work for you. Surround yourself with support. I know my life has changed when I stopped surrounding myself with things that didn't align with the direction I wanted to go. Through certain apps and certain lifestyle changes and certain places I go, my life has drastically changed. I have been afforded the blessing of being able to work with some amazing human beings. I have been introduced to a community of amazing people, many of you who are currently listening right now. with that being said, thank you. I love every one of you. I'm so appreciative to the amount of energy you provide and give back to me as I feel I give out. You replenish my bucket. That's how this works. When you surround yourself with those type of people, it's not you constantly giving and clawing to get to where you want to go. You have people with you. You have people that not only want to see you succeed, but you want to see succeed. You want them to, I don't want to say come with you, but they're on the same similar path as you, maybe with different details to their goals. But when you surround yourself with people who respect you, want to see you succeed, enjoy being around you, you enjoy being around them, your mood is going to drastically change because now you're inserting this joy, this love, this gratitude, this all of this on a regular basis, where opposed to you were just kind of hanging out in places that you maybe didn't want to be. I got a comment that I want to kind of address right now. I just complimented somebody else and they turned around and just shit on me. That speaks about them, right? Doesn't take away the words that you have, right? There's this act of giving with the expectation of something in return that can be a hard lesson to learn. So if I say, I really like the clothes you're wearing, or I really like the sunglasses you have, and someone turns around and says, that they don't like it. They don't like yours. You look stupid. Doesn't change that you like theirs, right? They're showing you them. So if you're surrounding yourself with these people that don't appreciate the things that you're bringing to the table, that don't appreciate the energy you're giving them, they don't appreciate, like, you understand, like, there's this appreciation, right? The respect value. We stop surrounding ourselves with them. We stop surrounding ourselves with people. We start surrounding ourselves with people that appreciate those things, appreciate those kindness. Now, that step's not easy because it can sometimes be a loved one. It can sometimes be a family member, a partner, a friend. What we start with is setting boundaries. I appreciate you bringing this up because I think a lot of people are working through a similar thing. You're not alone here. We need to set boundaries with with these people. I send you so much love, and I need people to understand that, remember who you surround yourself with, and whether it be online, whether it be through apps, whether it be in real life, you have control of that. Find people, find a community that you can feel embraced in, engulfed in, comfortable, loved, appreciated, because I promise you those communities are out here. This is one of them. You are so welcome here, and I appreciate you so much for sharing this. I'm so sorry to hear you're going through this, but know you are welcome here. All of these people, all of these people here, you are welcome. Sending you so much love, nothing to be sorry about. I appreciate you, being vulnerable, because what you just worked through and what we're working through together right now is what this podcast is all about. It's about dropping the agenda of talking about this and helping people who are going through stuff. Because I promise you, while it feels all encompassing and you feel like this is all coming down on just you, we know how you feel. I've been here. I'm working through it with you. And remember, you're not alone. You're not. This is a community that we are building for these moments, these progresses, and all of these beautiful people in here, as you can see in the comments, are here for you. Sending you so much love. Always welcome here. And we're going to jump back in, okay? Thank you, everybody who has been showing so much support to our friend. Thank you, everybody who can identify with what we are working through. Thank you, everybody who is still listening, who is working through their own set of circumstances, that are looking for a little bit of guidance. And remember, we're all in this together. That's what this community is about. It's about Being vulnerable, being open, and most importantly, you're not being judged. That is the number one thing, is understanding you are allowed to be yourself. You're allowed to feel the pain you are working through. You are allowed to understand that things are going to get better, because the topic of this podcast is motivation and discipline, right? All of this stuff that we're working through, we allow ourselves to feel it. We allow ourselves to work through this. And then we're going to start putting together a plan. We're going to start finding what we're going to be disciplined in. We're going to find out what motivates us, because that's what this community does. We have so many good people in our chat working through and trying to find a resource for our friend. That's what this community is. That's what we all work so hard to build, is we're part of each other's community. That's You want to talk about the delayed gratification? This is one of those moments for me. This is the delayed gratification that I am so fortunate to have. One, the people who are commenting and being vulnerable about what they're going through feel safe and feel heard in this space. That means the world to me. That's instant gratification. Do I find other people's pain gratifying? No. What I find gratifying is that there is a space cultivated that may not have otherwise existed if these people all didn't get together. If everyone who is listening, everyone who is commenting, everybody who is working through, happy birthday. If everybody is being the best, being in service of the best version of themselves to help each other, that's what this is about. Yeah, the podcast topic and stuff like that may have taken a turn, but that's what we're here for. We're here to let healing take the wheel and continue to work through this. And because the next chapter I'm on in my podcast episode is the identifying the why. And I think anyone listening, anybody watching, is understanding the why and why that is important. A lot of us are here to help. A lot of us are here to heal. Remember, your purpose can be to heal. And I don't think I need to tell anybody that sometimes healing, a purpose of healing, doesn't feel good. Right? Sometimes we have to understand that working through all of these things isn't sunshine and rainbows. Healing is hard work. Healing is peeling back the layers of that onion. And sometimes it is painful. And that's okay, because sometimes we have to work through those things to get to that light. The law of duality, right? Without one, there can't be the other. I can just speak from that on a perfect personal standpoint. The darkest of my days that I felt like I was stuck this way forever. This is my fate. This is my destiny. I am doomed. I am so grateful for those days sitting in this chair, speaking into this microphone right now, because without those days, I wouldn't have an understanding on how to help others going through that. So if you are working through those dark days right now, if you are feeling that this is your destiny, that you are doomed, if you are stuck, you're not. This is part of the story. This is part of that documentary that you're writing. This is part of your documentary that you are writing and starring in. This, if you can choose, if you have the willpower and the determination, the discipline, the motivation right now to choose that this is the moment I'm going to start turning this around with no expectations in sight of when this is going to, just today is the day I start changing. This is the day I start putting things into a practice. This is the day I make my mental health, my mental well-being, my emotional wellness my priority. And that means I'm surrounding myself with the right people. I'm setting my goals to align with my why. I'm finding my why by being dedicated and disciplined to finding my why. I'm setting my boundaries with others. All of these things, right? All these things I work through as a coach, all these things I make videos on, all of these things. So if coaching isn't your thing, if therapy is not your thing right now, I make so much free content. So many in this beautiful community make free content to help where we can. So remember to visit all of the content creators that are out there to help with your mental health and your emotional health, because that is our why, is to help you. Because it's so important to have your why and your purpose behind your actions, because that's going to continue to fuel you. When you set your clear goals and your priorities, that's going to continue to fuel you. When you're able to get achievable goals, when you're able to start checking off the progress you're making. Like I said, you can meditate for practice mindfulness for 1 minute today. Check the box. You're not cheating any system. That's in service of the direction you're trying to go. You're only cheating the boxes when you're refusing to do this. I'm going to show you what cheating the box looks like. When I tell you I want to be helpful, I want to be mindful, I want to be connected, I want to be present, I want to be all these things. And then I don't meditate, I don't exercise, I don't do my movement, right? I don't practice mindfulness. And then I get on podcasts and stuff and I tell you I do that. It would be glaring that I'm lying to myself, to others. I'm creating this fake world. So don't lie to yourself. That's part of the discipline, is being truthful to you. And if you sit there and be like, wow, I've been kind of full of shit lately, that is okay. Do you know how hard that is to tell yourself, wow, I've been bullshitting a bullshitter lately? Man, sometimes you have to laugh at yourself and be like, man, no wonder why I feel this way. I want to feel a certain way, but I'm not doing anything to get there. So let's start with 1 minute. If anybody in here wants to start with me on one minute today, we're gonna practice a little bit of meditation, right? Breathe. Just breathe for 1 minute today. Realize everything's gonna be okay. This is hard, and that's okay. We're gonna work through this. You're gonna think of it this way: emotions are a roller coaster. What you feel is not who you are, it's how you feel. You are observing this feeling that you are working through right now. You're the observer, you are the awareness of the emotion of sadness, loneliness. That's not who you are, that's how you feel. There's a big difference, right? And feeling that way, it's tough to say when you feel that way and be like, well, this is okay. But if you never sit with that feeling, if you never actually sit on the couch, understand what that feeling is trying to tell you, you're never going to heal from it. So sit on the couch with that feeling. Don't kick it out. As much as you don't want to feel the loneliness, you don't want to feel the sadness, you welcome it in and say, "Hey, you've been coming up a lot lately. You've been knocking on the door. I'm going to let you in. I'm going to give you some food and let's chat. Let's find out why this is popping up. What are you trying to teach me?" And sometimes those are the lessons that are it's trying to teach you is I want you to listen to me. I have so much stuff that I'm trying to work through that you keep ignoring me and telling me to get lost. Well, when we were a kid and our parents or our teachers or our friends told us to get lost, it didn't feel good. And now you keep telling me to get lost. That's a big lesson, is be the version of you wish you had as a friend, a parent, a teacher, as a kid. Be that version of you. Be there for them. Hug them. Don't try to fix it. Just be there. Hug them. Let that version of you know, like, everything's okay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not kicking you out. I might have to some chores to do, but take a nap on the couch. Like, you're welcome here. It's okay. Because just like that feeling and just like you're gonna walk back out that door and you're gonna get after it. You're gonna get after it because you took the time to listen. That loneliness, the sadness, the grief, it's not separate from you. That's like you said, we said you're the awareness of it, but that is you. By trying to kick it out, you're trying to kick yourself out. A version of you don't accept, you don't like, you've been taught that is taboo, that society doesn't like, that you shouldn't be so sensitive. You shouldn't. All of that's made up. I'm gonna spoil the big surprise. I'm going to. It's all made up by a society that's trying to control people, a society that's trying to make you feel guilty for feeling things. Here's the secret sauce: you are a human being that has a very wide range of emotions. And you're going to feel all of the emotions, whether you want to or not. You're going to feel them because, as a body, as a brain, as the gut health, all of that, you are designed to feel emotions. The good ones, the ones that we perceive as bad, you are going to feel the emotions. So welcome them in, name them, the old name them to tame them kind of thing. So when you sit there and be like, how do I feel right now? I feel sad. I feel uneasy. I feel unheard. I When you start sitting there like, okay, we're gonna reverse engineer. Well, how do I feel less lonely? Maybe I join on podcasts like this, right? I find communities that I feel welcome in. I find people that do make me feel heard. I find I feel much less lonely when I'm with these people, when I'm with this group, whoever it may be, right? So you follow that. Okay. I want to do more of that. I want to consume more of this into my life. You can start creating a system around that, a routine around that. When I'm feeling this type of way, I know I haven't been getting the exposure to feeling heard, feeling a part of something. So I need to fill that bucket up a little bit. It's all connected because on the days you don't feel like doing it, it's the days you need it the most. And that's what I tell myself all the time when I don't feel like complying with my contract of movement and working out. On the days I don't want to do it, it is literally the day I need to do it the most. Show up for 5 minutes. Join a live of somebody you enjoy for 5 minutes. Somebody's videos make you feel good, go scroll their page for 5 minutes. You might find you're gonna find the things you're looking through for when you scroll through or find the people that help you through it. Because that's literally walks us right into the last part of the podcast talking about overcoming resistance and procrastination. We're procrastinating healing. We're procrastinating feeling good because right now, as hard as this is to hear, feeling like this is much easier than the hard work it takes to heal through it. Many people would rather feel the way they feel because it's easier than putting in that hard work to start getting better. That's motivation. That's the motivation is if you want to feel better, you need to put in that work. Saying you want to feel better is a great start. Do one thing today, one actionable item today. You can overthink it till you're blue in the face. Do one thing today. One thing today that's going to make you start working towards your why. Stop procrastinating. Stop thinking that all of these things are just going to happen one day. They're not. You need to start today and do it. Because if you don't do it today, you're not going to do it tomorrow. You're not going to start fresh on Monday. The new year's not going to come and you're not going to go to the gym every day. Start right now. One actionable item. Close your eyes for 1 minute. Breathe, settle in, listen to the chaotic thoughts, and understand that that's exactly what they are. They are just chaotic thoughts. You are not those thoughts. You are the breath. You are the calm in the storm. You simply just are. Everything else is happening around what feels like to you, but it's just around you. You're the beauty in that space. You are the quiet. That's what you are. You are not the thoughts. You are the simple being of everything. Whew. Now that, my friends, is a podcast episode. I want to thank everyone so much for the love, for the support, for the vulnerability that people were able to share in here, for the help we were able to provide each other. Um, it brings me so much joy to be able to have a platform to bring people together to help heal with each other, whether that be mental health, whether that be spiritually, whether that be if you're on whatever belief you have. There's no judgment of whatever journey you are on or where you are at in your journey. I'm just so happy to be able to be a part of it with you. I'm so happy to be living in my purpose, which is being a mental health coach. If the things that if there's things that resonated with you on this podcast and you want to talk more, if you're looking for someone to speak with, that's what I do. I'm more than happy to set up a call to chat for 15 minutes to see if working together is right for both of us. If we can find and design a program or a blueprint for you that will work, I would love to be a part of your healing journey, just like you're a part of mine. So, with that being said, everybody, I am so grateful you are here. This has been a wonderful podcast. And if you are listening to the recording, thank you so much for choosing you. Thank you so much for sticking around and also being part of this healing journey, because without you, there is no me. And without you, there is no others, right? Without me, there is no you. Without you, there is no me. No one is better than another. We all are reliant on each other. And with that, I will catch you on the next episode of the Somebody Like You podcast. I will catch you when I catch you. See you later.